There are no words on it.
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Cooking with Unity. I'm your host, Max Moreau, and there are indeed no words on it. Phil and Jeffrey are here.
I'm Phil.
And they're awesome. And I need to get Jeffrey on this stupid slide. Why have I not updated this thing? This is a horrible slide.
Oh, I like
We will
it because it has
update
my
it.
name on it.
Well, yeah, and I like it because I has my name on it, but I don't like it because it doesn't have Jeffrey's name on it.
That is true.
So, go to main screen.
Main screen turn on.
There we go.
What you say?
Someone set us the bomb.
So, in our last episode,
Take off every zig.
We get signal.
these people aren't here. So in our last episode, we made
got you
AI.
right in the neck.
Yeah, he totally got me right in the
Yeah,
neck.
he
So
punched
we
you in
actually
the
have a dude who will come up and punch you in the neck.
What a
And then you can, like, punch him back. And you can't really get away with him unless you move up and down really fast and kind of, like, kite him with this. And oh, he tried to punch us, but he failed.
We were trying to make it
Did
so
you just
that...
use an MMO term for a fight go right?
What do you mean?
Kite?
Kite? Yes, I did. Kiting has existed
I
long
know
before
it
MMOs
has.
did it, but it wasn't called kiting. It was called running away really fast.
Yeah.
And then hitting.
And then MMO.
It was called the general strategy for all fight go right games. Actually, it was like jump and kick, jump and kick, jump and kick.
Yeah, yeah.
My neck.
That was my strategy in Street Fighter 2 for a while.
That's a good strategy. Actually, it will win you matches in Street Fighter 2.
Especially in Street Fighter 2 if you're playing the computer, because jump and kick, like every time you do that, they do the exact same thing, and so you can control what they're doing.
So you're manipulating the AI?
So I'm going to duplicate this scene because I thought, did I make a prefab out of it? Oh, good, I did. The punching bag has a prefab. I want to make the punching bag.
Can we call it punchy bag?
Scene.
One thing we were trying to do but didn't quite get was...
Let's just call it punchy bag.
We
We
can't
were
call it
trying to-
punchy bag?
All right, punchy bag.
We were trying to make it so that when you hit the other person, their knockback animation made it so you could stun lock them.
Yeah,
And it
that's
didn't quite...
that's something that
didn't quite finish.
we might work on. I actually wanted to focus on this episode to do some of the up and down movement and actually make the depth thing work. And we may do it two different ways, but that's the reason I want to get the punchy bag in there, because I want this to support both the 2D and the 3D modes.
Yeah, punchy bag.
Where is the punchy bag? It's in prefabs. Oh, it's spelled wrong. There's the problem. Punchy bag. All right, there we go. Now everyone will have to rename everything in their project. So we'll hit play here, and then we'll get beat up by this guy. Wait, why am I able to push it?
I think he was punching it. Or maybe not.
Oh, it's because I have a collider now. That's why.
Oh, the...
This is code rot. All right.
enemy-seeking collider?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to delete Nega Player for right now.
Nega player.
And we're going to hit play, and I want to see... So let's see what we got here. So,
Is that like Nega Sky?
so yeah, it hits me. It's just like...
Did you hit
like,
the punch button?
No, I didn't. Watch.
Ow.
Hits me right in the...
Oh, that's
right
what
in
that
the,
was.
Just...
Ow.
That's kind of funny, but that's actually not what we want. So let's see. How's the punching bag set up, and how's the player set up? The player has a player damage box, and if we go to project settings, physics, we will see that the player damage box will collide with enemy hitbox, and also it seems to also collide with player hitbox and player damage box, and I don't know why.
I don't either.
I'm going to close this animation so I have more room here. Player hitbox, player damage box. So this should, and player hitbox, yeah, okay. And it's also doing, wait, no. So player damage box, we don't want it to collide with anything except for enemy hitbox. And let's see if that fixes that. Now we might still want to be able to push it in the future, but I'm not going to focus on that just yet. So right now, if we walk up and down, we're pretending that we're walking in the scene, but it's obvious that we're not, because you can see when I walk up, I'm now standing on it like a magic person, as opposed to like
Clipping behind
clipping
it.
behind it.
Too bad it doesn't come up from behind you and just like wreak havoc when you spin it over
Yeah,
onto your
just
character.
we
Oh, my
might play
head.
with that. We might play with that later if we need to do more advanced like damage stuff, like throwing objects or something, and want to get kind of more of a physical aspect in there. What are we doing? So hit reaction.
We want him to move into the background.
Yeah. So if we go to our 3D view, you'll notice what I've done here is we've just forced him a little bit in front of this thing. And one of the things I'm concerned about is I don't want a situation where... This is fine. Like, this looks like he's behind it. But I don't want him to have a situation where we have that problem. See how he's partially obscured, and so
Yeah, that's not
he's
a
like
good thing.
inside of it. So this is pretty much the reason why it's going to preclude us. Like, we could do this where it's just actually 3D movement. Like, we could just change the camera angles so that would happen. But this scenario will happen even if we do it right. Mm-hmm. And so it might actually be in our best interest to do this the old school cheaty way. So so let's see what we can do. So first off, we've got some tools at our disposal, and we have some special cases that we have to consider. This is all important when you're figuring out how to do a game. So in Unity, we now have some new tools for 2D, and one of the new tools is our what are they called? Sprite components, and these sprites can have, so you can actually have them be in a different order. So if we put this at -1. The game view is probably not going to do anything because we're dealing with, let's see, if I do, yeah, I don't think it's going to matter what we put in here. But, I swear we can actually access this on 3D renderers as well, even though it is not by default exposed.
Well, you can affect layers in the shaders.
Yes, you can also affect layers in the shaders, but let's not go that deep if we have to just yet. I want us to be able to use as much of the editor as possible. So,
we could also make 3D objects actually 2D objects, but just give them the proper normal maps.
Yeah, we could do that. Well, that's not entirely true. Well, yeah, I guess we could do that. Because we tried flattening this thing out, right, and it doesn't look the same, so... But I guess with a different normal map, maybe it would.
Well, that's not the same as using a flat at the normal map of the full 3D object.
Yeah. Alright. Well, anyway, what I want to see is... I know I found a script online, and I actually think I found a really smart one. But let's see if we can find it real quick. If not, I think I'm going to just start writing it, because it's actually shouldn't be too difficult, but I actually wanted to hook it into the editor. Actually, let's just look at hook it into the editor, and we'll search. We're gonna go to. I still need the internet because I need to look up property drawers. So, first off, this is the first time we've dealt with these, and I need to say this because it will help a lot with how confusing these things sound, because the name is not property drawer, it's property drawer. We have this unfortunate thing in English where those two words are spelled exactly the same. And so this is not talking about like a drawer, like where you put your pants or something.
This is a drawer.
This is a thing that draws something. And what it draws is it draws the properties that you see here. And everything that you make actually automatically has a property drawer in the background.
Drawer.
But you can actually use it to extend more, so you can add features to these menus. You can make like here, actually, what I'm talking about. So most of the scripts that we've done ourselves, right? Some variables in here, and we might even be able to get fancy and use a special tag to affect the way our drawer works. So we can do range, and then give it a range, so like 0.0f and 3.0f, and if we hit save, it will totally show this as a slider. And it'll have these extents, and you can still manually. Well, you can't still manually, but it did because we had already had it before. We could get away with that. So I'm going to go back and change this back. So that changes the way that we view this. But where was I going with this? Just revert this. There we go. Hopefully that didn't cause... Oh, undo. Because we actually have our hit reaction here. So I'm going to hit apply. That'll be better. So, where was I going with this? So, but if you look at some of the, like, built-in... behind the scenes, actually cheat. But, like, behind the scenes, most of the time Unity's not. It's actually a very extensible system. And so if you go to, like... that's a good example. So, like, this has a little... icon widget. There's a button, and you click something. Like this is something you can add, actually, using a property drawer. You can change the way that information is shown. Like, if you want to see more how this works internally, if we go to debug, we'll see what these values actually are. So we have... It looks the same, kind of, right? Except for it doesn't have all the niceness, right? See how
it looks more useful to me.
There you go. This is actually... I haven't gone over this too much because it's the same usefulness. It just had...
Except you don't actually see the unique identifier that actually references that property.
Yeah, but how often do you need this unique identifier? I mean, really? And you really shouldn't change it.
Depends on
because it could cause all sorts of bad things that I don't even want to think about. And now I'm actually panicked.
Put some alpha characters in it.
Let's do... oh, I can't. It won't let me.
No,
the property drawer is smart enough. It actually wouldn't let me change it either.
It's actually not
it's like,
a writable
yeah, good,
field, even
good.
though it's just a reference.
Yeah. This actually corresponds, though. If we want to get really fancy... oh, wait, this is the local identifier. Yeah, that's not going to correspond. That's so good. This one might actually correspond to stuff that's in the meta files.
Well, that's still local identifiers.
Yeah. So, normal view. So, what we're going to do is we're going to try and extend an existing property. And what we're going to do is we're going to extend a mesh renderer so that the mesh renderer can have information pertaining to the same information that we can access in, what is it called here? In our sprites, the sorting layer and order layer. We were going to actually expose that to our 3D object, or attempt to at least.
Hey, they put some people in cells sometimes for exposing themselves too much.
This is true. Oh, look, they're going over the range stuff here. Cool.
Very cool.
So, what do we need to do?
Is this their new help? Like...
Yeah. It's not as nice looking.
No.
And some of it's not up to date. It's annoying. This is not a lot of information here.
So this property drawer?
Drawer?
Drawer.
Did you just call it a drawer?
No, I called it a drawer.
Drawer.
No, I called it a drawer.
A drawer? Okay.
Yeah, like where you put your clothes.
No, don't.
That's what it is, right?
Stop it.
Property dresser.
It's the
property dresser. The property armoire.
Whoa.
All right, so custom property drawer.
Property armoire extends
The
property drawer.
Property drawer. The custom property drawer. That's one that you paint your...
Documentation is not helping as much as I was hoping it is, so I'm going to search for it. Adding, we're just going to go right for the throat. We're going to ask the internet for the answer to our actual problem as opposed to asking it for the specific thing that we're looking for, which might be the wrong thing. So, what do we want to do? We want to add sorting layer and ordering layer. Wow, I really whistled that S. Sorting layer and ordering layer into mesh renderer. So let's try that. Adding sorting layer and order in layer to mesh renderer. Plugging the sort spine with sprite renderers layers, sorting layers. Actually, that one looks promising. Hold on. Drawing order of meshes and sprites. Maybe someone will have answered something cool here. I know I've run into someone who's actually done this before, and that's the reason but I kind of wanted to also work through it, but then I also kind of hope that... Okay, so here's script to expose the component in the inspector. Here it is. Cool. Let's just see what this does.
Seems like a good thing to just try it out, right?
Yes. Let's just throw it in and see what we get. So we're going to go to scripts. We're going to create a C# script. We're going to call it, what should this be called? It should be called Mesh Renderer Sorting Layers Editor. This doesn't sound right. Oh, type brush. Okay, that's fine. So I guess it doesn't matter what we call this. So I'm going to call it this big long name. And now I'm going to have to recopy and paste the actual content again.
And you're going to have to...
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Hold on. Or I'm going to try... There we go.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Dark Akuma.
Dark Akuma has joined us.
Yeah, it's the first time watching live.
Excellent.
Love the series.
So let's see if this does anything. So we're going to put this... Now, we also have to put this somewhere else because this is technically an editor script. So we should put this into a folder named editor. I believe we can do it in subfolders. It may not matter in this case. Let's actually just see what happens if we try and hit
just get it working.
Something that has a... There it is. It already just showed up.
It's
Sorting layer name. See? Sorting order. So let's go over how this actually works real quick before we just say, let's just use it. But I mean, you could just use it too. I'm not saying that you have to do this stuff, but it's sometimes nice. So this is what ties it to our mesh renderer. So if you do custom editor type of mesh renderer, this is what we're
sounds
want
like
to tie
you're
it
one
to.
of the Wonder Twins. Custom editor type of mesh renderer. Oh, I shouldn't laugh at my own joke.
No, it's
Oh
really
my
funny.
God.
It's really funny. I'm just trying to think of ones that would work even better. Type of rigid body. Okay, Wonder Twin powers unite. Type of rigid body. That sounds wrong. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
it does.
So what are we doing? We're gonna save. So I don't even know why.
I'm
say
sorry,
that.
I can't.
So I think the class name doesn't matter. Like I think we could literally call this whatever we wanted to call this, and it has to take from editor, and we also have to bring in Unity using Unity editor. And I think the reason that we want to put it in an editor folder is because if we do a build, it might try to put it in the build, and this stuff might break or something. But we'll play with that in a second. But what this does here is on Inspector GUI. So this is an override, and this overrides the normal Inspector GUI, which means that since it's an override and not like Unity's normal, Unity has kind of a weird system for the way they do update and start. It's not an override like you would expect in C#. It's actually just a function that gets called by them. It's a delegate is what they actually use behind the scenes.
Their updates are delegates?
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's just that their delegates are automatically registered by the game object class or its parent classes. Under normal circumstances, you typically override functions that already exist. And in C#. And this is not as common in Unity, but here is one of these cases. And so what that means is, on Inspector GUI normally has the code in it that is required to show all of this junk that's already here, right?
Yeah.
And if we did not have base on Inspector GUI, what this means is base is a special case where it brings you to wherever this came from, go there, and do what I tell it to do. So what this is doing is this is saying, we still want all of the cool stuff that you already did.
Yeah.
If we get rid of this, what this does...
We're just going to see
We're just going to see all of the mesh render stuff disappear, except for sorting layer name and sorting order.
That makes sense.
And you can get back, if you go back to debug, you'll notice that we end up back in the same situation we were before, mesh renderer with all the stuff here, but it also doesn't have our improved stuff.
Yeah.
So in debug, you only get to access to what was in the default on Inspector GUI. Well, actually, not even that. You don't get the GUI at all, but you get whatever their variables are exposed. Mm-hmm. So if we hit save again...
So now if we go to debug here, we won't see any of the thing we added, though, in the debug?
Yeah. Now, we still won't see that. So if we go to mesh renderer, you'll see that it doesn't show the things that we added. Yeah, it's the reason...
It's probably so that if you mess up anything with one of these functions, that you aren't gonna.
It's actually interesting that it doesn't show up because
It seems like it would.
it seems like it would. I'm not entirely sure what it's doing in the background. A lot of the built-in, a lot of the deep Unity stuff, I do not know because it's hard to find out. And there are people that do actually go to the trouble of doing and figuring out how this stuff works and testing against things. But I just tweak what I can see typically. So
That makes sense.
So mesh renderer equals target is mesh renderer. This just gets our. So this target is, where does this actually come from? I think this comes from the editor override. And so it means whatever's selected or something like that. And then we can get information about it. And so all it's doing is sorting layer name, and then it's exposing renderer.sorting layer name. Because renderer has this, and renderer is the it has all renderers have this, including mesh renderers and sprite renderers. Why it's not exposed, I'm not quite sure. Is this going to break eventually? I'm not quite sure. This falls under this kind of gray area. I don't think it's going to break though, because I've seen people at Unite, and when I say people, I mean the people who run Unity, like the people who make it. Say that this is actually within the normal use case. But if it was, why wouldn't they just expose it? I don't understand. But yeah, so keep that in mind. This could blow up in your face later. So let's see if we can actually make this happen. So actually, maybe we can improve it. So we have the sorting layer name. Is there a way for us to get the sorting layers? I would imagine this person probably would have found it. Maybe. Let's find out. Isn't sorting layer... No, sorting layer is just a... Here, I wanted to see something here. If we do render.sorting layer... Alright, sorting layer name gets set. Sorting layer ID. If we go to... Oh, yeah, sorting layer. I have no idea where that lives. I thought it might have been in the physics layer stuff, but... Which I think that I can find that, but I'm not sure if I can find the sorting layer stuff. So I'm just going to leave it as is. So we don't get a pull down here, which is one of the nice things that we actually do get in the case of the here. We actually get a pull down, and you can even add to the sorting layer. But we're not going to have that nice functionality. You're going to have to type it in perfectly. So we should probably say default in the sorting layer for this object. I wonder if it automatically does that or not. So, if I hit play right now, I just want to see if we get any errors. We didn't get any errors.
Oh, that's good.
If I type in, something wrong there, do we get any errors? No, we didn't. If I type in something right there, does it work any differently? Default. Alright, so I think I'm going to do something. I'm going to create a
When you typed
folder.
in something wrong, it accepted it, didn't
Editor. Yeah, it did. Wait, you're right. That might mean
it? So
something.
it can't share layers that already exist or something? So maybe you're creating a new layer?
No, it's not
Oh.
working now. I don't know why it worked the first time. I'm going to try moving this script into the editor script editor folder because it technically should be in there, I think. I'm going to hit play again. And then I'm going to bring us back, and we're going to go to the punchy bag and see if that solves anything. This, that's unfortunate.
When you did render.sorting layer name, it was a get set, wasn't it?
Yeah. Here, let's try something else. I want to see if we do... So this is a text field. Let's change it to an int field. And we change it from sorting layer name to dot sorting layer ID. I just want to see if this one works a little bit less janky at this point. It may have already broken since the time that this person wrote this
That is very possible.
Int name
Oh yeah.
instead of string.
Thank you. And I should probably rename it to ID, but
Unless
I'm not going
ID
to.
is a string. It could be.
I don't think it is. So if we go back to punchy bag now, so now we have a sorting layer. Well, it's still called name, but If I do 2, it says 0, 1, 0. So now let's see what happens if we add another sorting layer. So if we go to project settings, tags and layers, sorting layers, and we add like another layer. And then we go into our punchy bag and we change it to 1. Oh, it actually stayed this time. Cool.
Try 2.
And 2 will probably not work. Yeah, 2 goes back to 0.
What if you set it to 1 and then 2? Or was it 1 and then 2?
It was 1 and then 2.
Oh, so it defaults it to 0.
What
Yeah.
about 1? 1 work?
1 works, yeah.
So, is that actually just the position in the sorting layer?
So, yeah, this is by layer you can make things sort with each other, and then you can do a sorting order within a layer to make that work. We may not have... So the sorting order... I'm interested to see if the sorting order actually is paid attention to by the shaders, because there may be some stuff that's actually shader bound on this too. This is actually turned into more of an editor, and actually that's interesting enough, though. I'm going to stick with it because we haven't touched this too much.
We should just continue.
Maybe we should
doing
change it back to name. Now that we know that we just need to add the new layers, or continue.
All right, let's
changing
try
to
it.
ID instead.
Sorting layer name. Let's show both of them and see if let's do string name and then sorting order, sorting layer name. So we're just going to grab all of this stuff. I wonder what begin range. Do this whole thing. And instead of name, we're going to put int sorting layer ID, sorting layer ID, and ID. Save.
And change.
Oh yeah, and this needs to be a text field, and this should say ID.
I think that seems right.
So if we check back here now, we should see both. Okay, so now if I say something like, I called it another layer, right? Another layer. Oh, it changed, and it actually held that time. And then if I do default.
Now,
Okay, so default internally actually has no name determined. Yay. Science. And now if we just do 1, we can actually see all of them. So
I did it without you hitting enter.
So now, now I want to fix
hit
this. I want to fix it so bad now.
Fix what?
Because internally that's getting...
If it's default, you want to make it say default, or...
Well, what I'd like to do is I'd like pull down. I would love to actually fix the pull down.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping that the way that you would take this on. Because that seems like that would be the best way of implementing this.
Yeah. All right.
Is there a sorting layer?
This is going to be less gamey than usual. We're gonna mess around with. If people have objections, please be vocal in the channel, and we'll change it. But what was that?
We'll it.
Yeah, we might just overrule it, or we won't see it. One or the other.
Is there, like the layer masks and stuff? Is there a layer ID to name or name to ID? Do those functions exist? Because then we would be able to.
So what's interesting here is I don't think there's a layer named. I don't think there is a renderer.layer. Yeah, there is not.
Capital renderer.
Okay, good idea. Renderer.layer. Yeah, there's not a lot in renderer at all. There's nothing. There's nothing custom in there. Yeah, I don't think they have the convenience functions, but we don't need the convenience functions. This is the reason that I wanted to jump back into it now, because before I was already like, we've lost. Like, this person probably looked around really hard. We've determined some very interesting properties here, right? What we've determined is if we change the sorting layer ID, we can immediately pull the sorting layer name, because that changes. We've also determined that if we choose an ID that is outside of range, it automatically resets to 0.
Yep.
So, what we can do is we can quickly run through them.
What we need to find out is if... okay, yeah.
Yeah, we can run through them.
We can loop through until it sets the ID back to
0. And then we save out the ID ahead of time.
Then we know the count.
Exactly.
And we can run through them again, or the same time. The first time we're running through it, yeah, we can get the names.
Now the question is how do we make a pull down?
You know.
Yeah, but how
Oh.
can we modify an enum at runtime? I don't think we can, unless we use reflection, that's a little bit more advanced than I want to go on this show. And actually, reflection would probably solve the problem more directly anyway. If we wanted to get really specific about things. Let's see. So let's see what we've got in editor GUI layout. Let's check it out. Editor GUI layout dot fade group, horizontal scroll view, toggle group, vertical, bounds field, color field, curve field. There's some interesting ones in here actually. Color field, that's cool. In horizontal, in vertical, enum mask field. Wait, no, but that requires an enum. Enum pop up. I think these are what they use internally for the pull downs. But let's just double check. Fold out. What's a fold out?
Now we can't expose what
fold
they're
out is
doing
like-
in the editor, can we? We can't expose the way they would do this in Unity.
We can't look at their code, but we can, using reflection, actually kind of poke and prod. Like, it is actually possible to find out how things work in the background because C# is really advanced in that way. You can actually ask objects about themselves. But
That's cool.
yeah. Help box, inspector tile, in field, in slider, label field, layer field. Oh wait, that's yeah. Mask field, prefix label, password field. That's cool. So you can make hidden stuff. It probably puts it all in stars. Slider space tag field text area toggle left. Alright, I'm going to search for editor GUI layout, pull down menu. Create a drop down menu and a custom inspector.
Oh, that's perfect. If it works the way I think it does from seeing it for about half a second.
Pop up. Where did pop up? I missed pop up somehow. So options, but we still needed to pass it a. Oh, it's a
Yeah.
It's a list. Perfect.
Oh,
Array.
that's the best way
Array.
it could
Yes,
be.
you're right. It's not a list. It's an array. It's an array. But
Yeah, array's fine.
it's like the Python in me started talking because in Python they don't care. It's like it's a list. We don't. That's
Python doesn't
it's the
care.
same thing.
Python doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see if we can do this. So all we need to do is determine all the things.
We might want to make a list.
We're going to
so we
make a
can add
list,
them,
yeah.
and
That'll
then
make
put
it
into
quickly.
an array.
Yeah, exactly. Using system.collections.generic. And what we're going to do is, we'll do this before based on Inspector GUI just in case. We're going to do for each, no,
I think we should do
while,
it
while, do it after? Okay.
because the base isn't going to need it,
Yeah, that's true.
and the base should be at the top, I think.
While,
I agree.
okay, so let's,
Int index equals 0. Well,
yeah, we need to cover all the cases here, right?
or
So
int index equals.
So let's first save our index off. So int previous layer equals render.sorting layer ID. And then we're going to do while. Actually, no. What we're going to do is previous layer. Render sorting layer ID. At this point, we're going to set to 1
Are we just trying to get the
equals 1.
layer names?
Yes. And so now that we've
So
set
we
the
can
sorting out layer ID, we can do while sorting layer ID, while render sorting layer ID. Sorry. While this does not equal 0. And the reason we can do this is if we go in there with 1 and it immediately is 0, we're going to drop out of this immediately, which is perfect. So let's go ahead and be awesome too. We're going to first we're going to make our list. We're going to do actually let's make a variable for it. Sorry, make a little variable for it up here. So we don't have to frame. Oh yeah, we only have to do this. We shouldn't be doing this every time Inspector GUI comes up. Is there?
We need to do it when the.
Let me see what we've got in the editor class. Editor class Unity.
Neat.
So that doesn't look like C#, even though I have C# selected. As a matter of fact, it has a ah. All right, so yeah, we're gonna have to deal. Let's actually not go. I just want the script API. Unity engine, no. Unity editor, classes, editor. No, this is not. This is not. This is not the. Oh, here we go. There we go. This is what I was looking for. The members inheritance. So this gets on destroy, on disable, on enabled. So on enable will probably function for this. The only trick will be is if we add more layers, then we might have a problem. Let's do it. I think this looks going to be clean. So public. Actually, just do on enable. Or is this something we have to actually override here? No, it's a message. Okay, cool.
Can you tell when they click the drop-down menu?
Possibly.
Because if you can
that
do that,
would be
then
the
that's,
perfect time
yeah,
to
that's
do
when
it.
we could do it.
Yeah, you'd want it to be on the interaction where someone's going to select a list.
All right, let's see what we got there.
Because then on load, we won't get the refresh if we add new properties, but if we can do it when they interact with the list value, like right before the
So
list of the
Mm-hmm.
values that they could have, they could that's the time to do it.
Pop up. So select index. Yeah, we can't do it when it's clicked.
We don't have an on click or anything like that.
No, I don't even
no
know where we'd go to
notifications?
hunt for that handler actually. So let's just do it here. Let's just get working first, and then we'll worry about where to put it.
Might be in the event system.
So-
I don't know if that's.
We need a list. We're going to create a private list of string, not with an S. Private list string. What is it called? Layer, sorting layer. Layer names is what I'm going to. And it's going to equal new list string with a little bracket thing at the end. So we hit save. I don't know why I hit save, but I did. And then what we're going to do is we're going to first we're going to do sorting layer names dot add default. So now it will actually say default in the list. And now we can do sorting layer names dot add. And what we say is sorting layer ID
Renderer. Sorting layer name.
dot sorting layer name. Yeah, you're right. Render dot sorting layer name. I'm just gonna. We know it's there, right? And I'm gonna hit save.
It didn't want to help you at all on that one.
And then we're going
No, it
to.
did
So I
not.
created a third thing here. We're going to instead make this a dot pop up. This still returns an int, so that's good. And we still are going to be resetting the ID, so that's perfect. So pop up, we're going to use selected index is our currently selected index, which is, oh yeah, we should definitely do this at the end. So renderer render dot sort. Why is it not like renderer anymore? Sorting layer
Maybe there's an error on
ID,
the line.
probably. I probably messed something up. Sorting layer ID equals previous layer. So now we're back into the proper state. So what we do here is pop up. We want the selected index, so that is our current sorting layer ID. We want the displayed options, which is our list. So what we do is we take our list, it is Oh wait, and we should actually be resetting this list because we're adding each time. So this should actually just be
Surprised we aren't actually using like a dictionary.
here. Why would we want a dictionary?
Because then we can actually store the int, but
It's automatic here because
I guess so,
yeah.
yeah.
So the dictionary wouldn't help us in any particular way on this one. But yes, you're right. If we wanted to have something that we were using,
Right before default.
yeah, thank you. So let's.
so then we could actually identify
Didn't
the
you already
int too.
copy it?
Oops. I evidently copied that. I swear copy and paste has gotten worse and worse on macOS lately. Sorting layer names equals new
List string.
list.
Oh, it had it highlighted.
It did have it highlighted.
Alright, cool. So now we've actually reset it. Actually, you know, why am I doing that? That's stupid because it's actually more than we need. We just need sorting layer names dot reset. Remove all. There we go. That's actually slightly faster because it doesn't have to reallocate memory. So actually let's do what we did before here. Equals new list string, whoops, string, bam. So save. And then finally, what we do here is we pass in our sorting layer names dot to array. That's how you convert a list into array. It's very easy. And we don't need any GUI layout options, so we'll just break that out.
Oh, GUI layout.
And if we hit
options.
save, I'm just going to leave all the other stuff. Oh, wait, I redid ID, so we want to call this.
It got rid of it though when you saved.
It shouldn't have. Look, this is totally redefining
Oh.
here. So, so I don't know why it's not complete. Not a developer just is not. It's like I don't want to be helpful today, so I'm just meh.
Yeah.
That's
So
not in a block or anything.
why do I even care about the ID? Oh, I do care about the ID. Let's call this. Yeah, let's just get rid of this one. We don't care about this one. No, let's care.
Check it out.
Just gonna do that for right now, just for the moment, so that we have all this stuff just visible to see if it's working right.
Good call.
So if I, okay, we've got a problem. Render cannot be used before it's called. Wait, what?
Oh, you aren't calling render until right after you're... See that down? Render is... The mesh renderer, not actually there yet.
Oh, where did they get it from?
It's down right
Oh,
there.
okay.
That's why it wasn't working.
That is exactly why I wasn't working.
Yep,
I
that makes
forgot.
sense
Yeah,
now.
it's not attached. It's not there by default. That makes a lot of sense. All
Yep,
right.
that makes sense.
So we're going to do that.
And then
Save.
now it's declared. All right. There we go. All right.
And now
there's
we're
only
just one further away.
For an overload, it looked like?
So, remove all doesn't take 0 arguments. So, remove all is the wrong thing. Dot clear. That's what we
Yep.
want. Remove all removes all of a particular item. So if you have a list that
Clear
has
is
multiple
actually
things,
just nuking the
yeah,
list.
yeah.
Shut down all trash compactors on the detention center.
Yeah.
Detention level.
I think we crashed Unity.
Too many list things.
I think. Oh, I know what happened. Yeah. Okay, so this won't work, and the reason this won't work is because we have this while loop while sorting layer ID does not equal 0. There's
We don't have any escape.
so
Oh, we didn't do a plus on it.
a plus. Oh yeah, we didn't do
We're
it.
doing
Yeah.
zero. We're doing.
This still may not work, but this might actually
Yeah,
fix it.
that
So
might
good
fix
call. So
We were just
sorting-
well, it's not 0. It's 1. Okay, it's not 0.
One. Okay, it's 1. Okay, it's 1. Okay, it's 1.
Plus,
Okay,
plus.
it's 1. Okay.
Yeah, it's still 1.
Still 1.
There is one special case. If you had only one layer, this would work fine. I don't
Yeah.
see what the problem is.
That's why you should avoid doing like while true if possible.
Yeah,
Reverend-
unless you're in a coroutine.
Things like that.
While true is very valid in a coroutine. but-
Reverend-
But that's because it's not a
Wolfgang.
loop where
Exactly.
you're doing it over and over in
Exactly.
one frame.
We have a person in the chat right now.
If you
Yeah.
screw up, you're still just
Reverend
doing it once
Wolfgang
frame.
Yeah. Oh,
says
cool.
that it's probably MonoDevelop's fault. You can't paste. Sometimes it starts up and forgets how to capitalize.
Wow, that's
Scary.
yeah.
Scary. Spooky. Scary.
Why did what? Oh, we didn't save. That's
Oh.
what happened. So
Yeah.
delete this. We didn't do anything either. All we did was pull a punching bag out. That's
The
all we
punchy
did.
bag.
So here we go. We have it. It says default. That's not everything that should be. Oh wait, we didn't save
No,
that.
we didn't
though, did
save
we?
any of that. So
So let's see if it all works.
Add
so we're
more
going to go
layers.
add all the layers. All right. So
Seriously, I
Tags
want
and
you to
layers.
write add for the first layer and then all for the second
Add
layer. It should just be add all the layers.
The layers.
With an exclamation point.
Oh, it even accepted it.
Yeah, I'm
And then we go into
surprised,
punching
actually.
bag and woo!
Oh, look at that! And it even
Eat it, internet.
even like refreshed it. So
Now
if you go
select
back,
one and
Yeah.
let's look at what it does.
So if we go to add, it. Ah!
oh sweet. All right, now add another layer,
All right.
just a test layer or something like that, because I want to make.
We know that it works.
I know, but I want to see it.
you
want to
see it happen?
again.
Let's add a layer and rename one of them. Let's all add the layers. Now.
Question mark.
Now. All right. then we
Add
go-
the layers
now. Add the layers now.
Fantastic.
All right.
That is great.
Actually-
that is better than I thought.
Now I would have actually. Let's see. Did anyone figure this out?
Wait, go back to our thing.
Oh, he got a script to. Someone else had already done this for us. Let's see how they did it. I'm curious.
Layer
Well,
ID
that might be an easier way of doing it. I should have scrolled down more.
That's awesome.
Oh wait, no. Okay, so here's no. Oh, haha! We're doing it without reflection. They're doing it with reflection. So this function actually is not built in. This is one they wrote. And look, type internal editor utility type of internal editor utility property info sorting layer property. So we actually. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's kind of cool.
Now scroll down to the part where he does it without reflection.
Okay. Can edit multiple objects. Nope.
Go
Put your
back
pickles
to
right in your
go back
reply.
to our
Suck it.
Suck it, bitches.
Have some non. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
So, what
so
are we doing?
change it from default. Okay, now change the ID without changing it in the drop down.
Isn't that just a
Okay,
thing
cool.
of beauty?
That's
That's
too
the
cool.
Unity serializer at work. That's not mine. That's just because Unity's awesome. Actually, like the amount that's going on behind the scenes here is just sweet. That is just so awesome. That their property had a validator. Because their property had a validator, we were able to use the validator to pull into this thing. So I'm not sure. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure which is better, doing this thing, because this thing kind of relies on make sure that validator still works. So if they ever break their validator, it might break this. I don't think they would. The other one relies on changes that you can't guarantee. Potentially.
So now we don't actually need that text input field, nor do
No,
we
we don't.
actually need
No,
a
we don't.
numeric field.
We do not need either of those things now. And those are very easy to remove.
Yeah, just commenting out some sections.
I just want to see. So internal editor utility, where do they get property? So the trouble with this is, honestly, it's the same deal either way. I'm going to say that our solution is slightly better. And the reason I'm going to say that, and this is probably something that you could really have an argument about if you wanted to, which is better in this case. But the reason I'd say ours is slightly better is this one will give you an error at runtime. Ours will actually give you an error at compile time if they decide to change the property names for the sorting layers and stuff. This one, if they change any of the internal names, it will break once you actually. Well, actually, I guess runtime is the same as compile time. In this
That's
case,
kind of what I was
because
thinking.
we're an
like,
editor. It's not like when we.
it's
we
not
hit
going
play.
to throw the error in the editor, is it?
It will. It absolutely will.
That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I don't know which is better.
I
Honestly,
think the way that we
you'd probably
add
be
it-
safe. You'd be safe either way. I'm going to stick with ours because I'm so proud of it.
Yeah, I think you should. Just comment that out.
And let's actually call this what it is: sorting.
We should just comment this part, just so you can see it.
sorting
You know.
layer. Yeah. Oh, later, just in case we need
Yeah.
it. Okay.
I think that it would be a good idea to keep the code here.
Oh wait, this doesn't work. Hold on. Where did they get that? Hold on. If we do this, Oh, there is a label. Okay, so we can just, that's why.
Yeah, we
so-
wanted label.
Yeah, we
on
absolutely
there,
want
but it
the
was
label.
just sorting label or layer,
Yeah,
right?
sorting layer. That's all we want.
And a comma.
Comma.
There we are.
And then we don't get rid of. We're going
just
to just
comment.
comment these out. I want to actually change this though. Let's call this.
ID.
Let's call this.
Layer ID.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I should do ID full caps.
I
No, I
would
should
do-
do
I
layer
would
ID.
do it.
It is full caps.
Yeah, I would do it full caps.
Why did that go away? And then we're just going to comment this out. So we'll do a block comment. Boom. To boom.
That is nice. At least that translates from
Save.
SQL to C++ or C Sharp.
Well, it transferred from
Everything.
from
Yeah,
C++
I know,
to
it's great.
SQL is what happened.
I
But
know. I work with SQL so much that
yeah.
it's...
So now we do add some of the layers. Cool. This all works.
Oh, and look, it's all nice and even now. Has a little...
So if we put both the player and I don't know why we're keeping it called add. I just want to keep it till the end of the episode. We'll change it on the next episode. It's not stupid, but it'll make us laugh, and I want to keep that in there. I want to apply this because
Unless
we
we're
can actually
like,
apply that.
What were these guys
Start off the
thinking?
next episode
We're just
with
like,
a
what
laugh.
are these guys
Yeah,
thinking?
exactly. So
Changelog 734. Who wrote this? Oh.
Oh, yeah.
oh, it was me again.
Man, I hate that.
So
when
we're
you
gonna put,
open code and you're just like, why?
all of the sorting layers for all of the King's Horsemen. So we want to expose down to here because nothing else has a render underneath these things. And we're just going to go all these and we're going to set the sorting layer to add. And then let's see if it actually does sort with the
way that we expect it to.
like so if we actually let's put them on different layers first. I guess I should have just done that. Let's just do this first. So default and add, so they're on two different layers. So now if we go into the scene,
Oh, the collision is back to bumping.
we got a few
Yeah,
things.
well, I don't think
So
that's the biggest
if we
issue. Right?
grab our dude, our stick man, and we move him,
He's a stick
we
man.
move the player, sorry,
Skibidi boop ba da ba.
go up to the game. So
Boop,
he's
ba-da-ba.
behind it, and now is he in front of it now? I think he is. That's dumb.
He's a stick man.
Maybe it only does the sorting if they're on the exact same amount. So let's do both at 0. Well, wait, that doesn't make sense either. I swear this does work.
Is he using 2D sprites?
He
Or
is.
Quads or
He's using sprites.
do sprites in 3D objects?
I swear
Do
that
the
they
layers work the
do.
same, or-
Maybe they
'Cause I
only
know
work
the
between the
physics-
3D objects and the 3D objects and the sprites, but
Physics doesn't overlap.
Yeah, no physics. You have to kind of commit one way or another.
I'm going to temporarily remove the rigid body.
And both of them have issues in different places. So you wish you could do part of it in 3D and part of it in 2D physics.
I'm going to remove the hinge joint, and we're going to remove the rigid body. And we're going to hit play. So if we go to scene, how do I make the player not? Okay, so the punching bag. Move this to like 0. Let's see what this thing says. Using non-sprites with the new sorting layers. Let's see what this says. On any renderer via script to sort them together with sprites, only the sprite renderer has these properties exposed to. And the offline set the sorting layer name in the start method. That's basically what we're doing, but better. But it doesn't seem like it's working because you'd think that our character would be rendered on top of the punching bag, or at the very least, you'd think that changing the sorting layer would change that. So if we did like sorting layer there. It didn't change anything. If we go to our sorting layers, Yeah, they definitely... Add should be between, you know... Alright. This is where we were just at. Oh, evidently there's also a draw default inspector as opposed to base dot on inspector GUI. I bet they base the same thing. What are all these things that they're doing? Apply to child. Oh, that's for the particles. It works for particles. That's cool. But why?
I don't know.
Why? I would have just expected that to just work. Me.
This one's still on the default layer.
It is now, yeah.
We
Let's
changed
do
it to-
the, and let's do...
Well, have we changed the sorting order on any of these layers?
Well, they have a sorting order automatically, so yes.
Well, order and layer, I guess, is the other option
so let's
here.
do now. So one's on add and one's on now. They should be way far away from each other, but it doesn't seem to be.
Did you try doing order and layer with them on the same?
Yeah, we tried that earlier, and that's the reason I was kind of fix it. I didn't show it much, but let's do it. If we do default and then we set like order and layer like 100, and then we hit play, it looks like this. And if we set the order and layer to like -100, it still looks like this.
The others on default too.
Yeah, the others I moved back to default.
Son of a bee. We got that cool editor thing working though.
Yes, so, why built-in shaders Unity? Actually, beta. Let's just make sure that we're looking at the ones that apply to the beta here. So, where's the built-in shaders? There it is, built-in shaders for Unity 4.6. This is the shader source that is used for compiling the shaders that are built into Unity. And what we're going to look at is, I want to look at a, what is it that sprite runners even use? They use Sprite's default, which Sprite's default uses Sprite's default. Perfect. So, we go into, where were we? Sprite's diffuse. There we go. This is actually it. Even though it doesn't have the exact same name, and you'll see why when we come in here, why it says Sprite's default as opposed to Sprite's diffuse. And then we want to compare this to just normal diffuse, which also has a slightly different name in the editor. But if we go into Sprite's diffuse, you'll see that it says Sprite's diffuse. That's weird. I don't know why it wasn't called Sprite's default. Oh well. What is this thing trying to... Oh, it's because I've got a script on it or something to force on hit. Let's get rid of this.
Go into a material and see if there are both Sprite's diffuse and Sprite's default shaders.
There probably will. Well, I mean, there will be now because this is here. But
yeah, never mind.
Here, let's just look at this real quick. So, it's Q transparent, render type transparent, preview type plain. Can use Sprite Atlas. Pre-rendered data. Material tile. These are new. I haven't seen these properties before. Huh. Z-write off. Input. Yeah, this doesn't look like it does anything. Yeah, I guess if it does anything in the sorting, you'd think that it's not in the shader then because of this, but.
I do not know.
Well, I keep doing the episode because this is an interesting problem.
Is normal diffuse in the transparent Q also?
I would imagine it's not. Yeah, it's not. That might be the problem, actually. Very good point. Because transparent things have to be sorted separately. So let's try something. Change the shader on the punching bag to be a transparent shader. We're going to create a material. We're going to call this transparent diffuse. And we're going to change this to transparent diffuse.
All right.
And then we're going to put this on our punching bag. Aha!
Yep, that's it.
That's it. So now if we change our layers
to one, change
so
it
if we
to
change it
positive
to
100.
100,
You should see that.
yep.
Yep.
1, -1.
So
Well, there's
this
your
has to
problem.
be it has to
So-
be transparent.
I know this is now why they didn't expose it in the air. This is exactly the reason they didn't expose it. This is exactly why. Because this is an inconsistency, this is an annoyance, but here's why this happens.
It's
so,
because they knew that if you could get it into the editor yourself, you'd be able to find out that it's because of the shader.
Yeah.
And you'd be able to finish fixing the problem.
Exactly. No, that's true. So, well, they didn't want to create caveats or automatically change your shaders around. Think about it if you're a Unity person, right?
No,
You're-
I get
yeah,
it. I
mean,
totally get it. I really do.
It's like you've done this on your own code. I've seen it. It's like this is inconsistent. Gone. You know,
Yeah, I
exactly.
love consistency.
So, yeah,
There's-
exactly. So the reason this is inconsistent, though, this is actually an interesting problem. Glad you spotted that. Because the way transparency works, in transparent objects, you have to include the stuff behind it. And the way we do transparency is, what's actually happening is when a frame is drawn, is actually like an artist drawing things. They draw them in a certain order, and these orders can be controlled by variables like this, or just by the order that are put in. Now, in the case of transparency, though, transparency has to be drawn after all non-transparent things. Mm-hmm. It has to be. Because if it's not, or am I saying this wrong?
No, it has to be drawn afterwards.
Yeah, because then it can actually do the blending for the stuff that's behind
stuff
it.
like that. Yeah, that.
And so what actually happens here is when you do Q transparent and render, I think Q transparent is the only thing that matters. This changes the render queue to happen earlier. As a matter of fact, we can probably find out exactly when. Q equals transparent. I'm just curious what this will. So transparent. Yeah. So this way, any transparent shaders make sure that they are drawn after all opaque objects and so on. So transparent, this render queue is rendered after geometry and alpha tests in back to front order. Anything alpha blended, i.e. shaders that don't write to the depth buffer, should go here. And since now you might say, wait, that doesn't make any sense, because what if a transparent object is behind another object, right? Mm-hmm. The reason that still works is because they use the depth buffer to actually determine that, which is actually part of the reason. So if you just have a bunch of opaque objects, you don't have to have a depth buffer. There's actually no reason to have a depth buffer. And this is the problem that you see. You know when you put like a transparent thing near something and it ends up like snapping behind it, or like there's a little bit of layer, like if you change the camera angle, that's exactly what's happening here. It's because of the fact that they're using the depth buffer, and the depth buffer does not have as much resolution as our floating point like just actual Z order. Like it's a much lower resolution than what we have for the space. All right, now that I've gone into all those technical details, I think this is a good stopping point because we fixed our problem.
I agree.
Anyone interested, you can also.
So let's see if the layers actually work too. If we put this on like.
You can do like Q equals transparent plus 1 and stuff like that.
This is true.
To
yes.
change even what transparent objects are going to be, what order they're going to be rendered in.
Yeah.
So this does mean that technically, unless there's an early out internally for whatever graphics card you're using, which there probably isn't, this does technically mean that it is checking for blending. It may not actually have an impact
It will,
but
mobile.
it might.
Mobile will
Well, I mean, like,
probably have an
what I'm saying is, it's possible because there's more shader code it's going through, but at the same time, it may not actually do the blend operation in the case of a 100%. Sometimes there's early outs on that type of stuff.
That would be a good thing.
It would be.
And if that's the
put, like,
case,
1,000 objects on the screen and
Yeah, and
see
find
if
out.
there's any difference.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah,
This is true.
that'd be the only way we could really
Yeah.
tell.
So this may cause some performance problems, but it does give us access to the sorting, and this is why they didn't expose it by default. That makes
totally
perfect
makes sense. I get it.
So I'm going to
That's a good play.
default, yeah. And now that we've got this stuff working, and I'm going to go ahead and I don't want to apply this to the punching bag just yet. I want to reset the punching bag because we got rid of all the stuff that made it a punching bag.
That made it fun.
And, well, no, just made it a punching bag. I mean, it still looked like one, but it
Hey,
didn't
I
act
like
like
it
one.
when it would swing back and I want it to hit the dude in the head at some point.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Neat.
See, we're getting some flickering.
some
That's because we're
fighting,
actually
yeah.
on the exact same layer right now, so it's whatever it can do.
That makes sense.
But if we want to make sure that there's no flickering, let's do that just before we check in. Let's just make it so that the player is ahead of it for right now. We're going
And then
to make...
next week we could probably make it so that
Actually, let's make it
the
so
player
that this is
will
behind.
transition to and from it. Oh, that's so cool. That will...
-1.
You're already looking forward to next
that's
week.
cool.
Yep. And so now there's no fighting because now we're distinctly on different
But now we
layer
could,
orders.
but because now we
Drawers.
have exposed this, we can actually
Yeah, we
say
can play
the
with
depth
it.
that
Yes.
we are at.
Yes, and so now we can. What we'll actually end up doing is we'll just be setting that depth to a value based on our Y.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Which is awesome.
And you know what's
Based
great
on
about
Z?
that?
Whichever
Oh,
direction.
Yeah, up,
Depending
up
on
and
if
down.
we're scaling or doing
Yeah, I was thinking
Y
like
or
yeah,
Z
yeah.
or what combination.
Yeah,
we're
exactly,
doing.
exactly. We
Yeah.
could do it in either way. But the other thing though is I don't remember what I was going to say. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
I'm going to
You
hit
were gonna
apply.
say something about the other thing.
Yeah, the other thing. Oh well. How about that other thing?
Other
Thanks for
thing.
joining us,
Pretty cool.
joining us tonight. We actually did some interesting stuff that I totally
Yeah.
wasn't planning on
I
doing.
wasn't
So,
expecting that, but that's
so
awesome.
that was actually kind of fun. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. If you have any questions, please email me, pushypixels@pushypixels.com. You can also tweet me at Dragfire. You should buy Phil's game. It's called Robot Alone.
You should. It's good. It's a fun little game.
You should also like Magma him on Twitter, or,
Yeah, follow
or
me on
Twitter
Twitter.
him on Magma
At
or whatever it
Magmalemur.
is. Yeah.
You know what you should do though? You should donate to the show.
Yes. We have a Patreon page thing. You can search Patreon for Cooking with Unity, or you can just go. It's in the burger on the front page. Like if you just go to cookingwithunity.com, you'll end up on the front page and burger in the corner. Burger in the corner.
Hamburger.
Thanks for joining us. You guys have a wonderful night.
Have a good night.
Good night. See you later.